welcome to the Revolut Insider Podcast, where we take a look at all things Revolut from the inside out. I'm your host, Alex Grill, and joining me today is Business Development Manager, Melina Dimoula.
Γεια σου, Alex.
Γεια σου, Melina. Τι κάνεις?
Καλά είμαι.
Fun fact, I speak a little bit of Greek, and right before this recording, we were talking about that.
Yeah, we just find out about that.
And this morning, you brought Sureki from Terkenlis.
We have this tradition here in the office of bringing different things from different areas where we're from. So I said, why not?
Well, I was very appreciative when I found this happy surprise in the office.
Of course.
And let's get back to business. Tell me a little bit about your role as a business development manager.
So as you said, I'm a business development manager at Revolut. I've been with Revolut a little bit more than 2.5, 3 years now. And the business development role is part of the global business department, which is practically the team that is taking care of the profitability and the gross margin of the company. And in particular, in my role, what we do is that we work on financial partnerships that are related to alternative payment methods. So by alternative payment methods, we refer to payments that are famous in different markets or different locations.
Fantastic. And I know that you've been part of some important projects that have turned customer feedback that we receive into real solutions that make a difference for millions of customers.
Yeah, that's true. Recently, we have worked on a couple of projects that were quite interesting and had quite a high demand from our customers.
Well, I'd love to ask you more about how you manage those big scale projects and get your insights about delivering value for anyone who's looking to make a real impact in their work.
Happy to share a little bit more details about what we're doing.
Pame, as they say in Greek. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so the big feature that I want to start with, which is one of your recent successes, is the implementation of bringing Bizum to retail customers in Spain. Can you walk me through how this new service was identified and prioritized within Revolut?
So maybe before we jump into how we prioritized this project at Revolut and how we identified it, let me give you a quick overview. What is Bizum? In Spain, Bizum is a super popular payment method. It's the most used payment method for the last couple of years and has like more than 25 million active customers on it.
Wow.
And majority of the transactions are happening through Bizum. So practically what the users do with Bizum is that they send instant payments just by using their phone number. You can just insert a phone number and send an instant transaction to another user. It's very easy, it's instant, it's free of charge. It's very similar to what we do at Revolut with the peer-to-peer transactions where you have a similar experience. But still, we identified that our customers, through the different channels, potentially social media or chats or by surveys where we were asking for more customer feedback, they were telling us that what they really need is Bizum. And this has happened for the last 2-3 years, I would say, that our presence in Spain has grown. So over that time, they were continuously telling us that, okay, you have amazing features. Revolut is really the product we want to use. But in order to make Revolut our primary account, what we really need is having Bizum transactions. So we received that feedback. We took it seriously. And then we did the next exercise that we normally do is to identify what actual value is bringing both to the customers, but also to us as a company and as a business, and if it makes sense from a profitability point of view. So that was the exercise that happened over the last year, almost 2 years. And then we went through the path of actually building this business case, building the commercial part, and doing all the work to adhere to Bizum as a system and to deliver that feature to our customers in Spain.
And this really came from listening to customer feedback and making a plan to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. We had very consistent feedback, which we evaluated, and it helped us to get this project prioritized and to work internally on it.
What's been the outcome since launching Bizum?
So we launched Bizum in September 2024, and we're seeing already quite some great results. So we are really, really happy with how our customers are perceiving this feature. More specifically, we've seen that 7 to 8% of our customers are already enrolled to Bizum with Revolut within a very short time frame. Also, two other areas that I was very positively surprised and they overperformed our expectations was in terms of signups. So we had an increase on signups in the Spanish market. Customers that they enrolled as Revolut just because we brought that feature to them. And the other piece is that was also very big learning, I think, for the overall team, was that we managed to grow our overall transaction volume. So
Wow.
there were some concerns initially that potentially Bizum will take over some other transactions. So like our customers would move from one type to another. In the end, we noticed that this is not happening. They are doing even more transactions with us. So it's supporting what they actually told us in the beginning, making Revolut their primary account.
Yeah, and I think it's that deepening of the customer relationship.
Exactly.
Right? Becoming the primary bank for customers to make their whole financial experience easier.
We are helping them to bring all their financial interactions in one place. And by having this additional feature, we are actually seeing the impact of that.
So, what's the process for deciding which customer requests become these major initiatives?
So, of course, we have always a wider list of requests and projects that we need to prioritize, and we need to evaluate the one against the other because we don't have unlimited resources. I would love to, but I think every company has to do this exercise internally in terms of balancing the effort from a technical perspective, like how much effort, how many months we need in terms of delivering a feature. What is going to be the customer impact? So the part that we just discussed on what is the feedback we get, what do we see that customers are going to do with that feature that we're giving them, and of course balancing that out from a profitability perspective and business value for Revolut.
So, kind of finding the middle ground between all of that of what's going to help our customers and what's going to help us move forward.
Exactly. What is going to make sense for us to grow and in order to being able to support even more initiatives in the long term.
Besides launching Bizum in Spain, can you tell me about other projects you've worked on that were also influenced by customer feedback that you felt had a major impact?
So I've been with the alternative payment methods team for a bit more than a year, and the last year has been a little bit on fire for us.
Okay, in a good way.
In a good way,
Okay.
in terms of deliveries. So we are very proud of the things that we have delivered throughout this period of time. One of the main projects that I worked on getting it done in 2024 was cash deposits.
Oh,
So for the UK market, we deliver that feature to the end retail customers. So now they're able to go into different locations, different stores or collaborative partners and deposit any spare cash that they might have. I know, and you probably think that cash is something that is not that much used, is getting a bit phased out, but actually is a product and an initiative that is really helping us to give access to cash to users. There are a lot of initiatives from the UK government that are ongoing that are supporting users to have access to cash, and also is supporting the other value of financial inclusion. That goes back a little bit on the previous point on customer feedback. So for cash deposits as well, we collected feedback, and more than half of our customers told us that they deposit cash within short time frames in a year.
wow.
So we took again that feedback and we acted on it. And I think that's also why we're super proud of that particular project. Another big success for the alternative payment methods team was Blake in Poland, which is a feature that was also very desired by our customers and very demanded. And the team delivered that throughout 2024. It took also quite a bit of effort and quite a bit of project management to get it done. But yeah, we're also really happy to give that to the end customer.
Talking about these big scale projects, let's take Bizum, for example. Like, I know that there are a lot of steps to go through before it comes to market. How do you start breaking down a project of this scale into manageable steps?
So when we decide what to work on, we have the customer needs in the center of the prioritization. Then we have the value proposition for the end customer, and also we define why this is important for us. After we have done like this first exercise, we try to understand any synergies or any internal abilities that we already have in certain markets that we could use in order to deliver faster and to scale up the projects that we're working on. Combining these two pieces, I would say that there are three areas of delivery. One is the technical side. This is also why we're quite great on this project, because we have a lot of resources on the technical side. But always when we're talking about something like this, our technical team is heavily involved. Then we have the commercial side, which is more my role. We build the partnerships that are needed to establish a collaboration to deliver such high-scale projects. And then the third part is the legal and regulatory piece. So we bring these three pieces together and we create a roadmap of all the smaller actions that need to be completed from the ideation phase to actually bringing this to the app and providing it to the customer.
I imagine that these roadmap items move quite quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's very common for us that we identify a need and we do the process of evaluating the work needed, the partnerships needed in a very high speed, and we bring that to the end customer within no time. We had cases within this year that we found the product that was really needed, really requested, and we got it to the market within 2 or 3 months.
Incredible.
Which, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe I would think that this is not really feasible, but we actually do it.
Knowing Revolut, we're going to do it.
You can do it.
I know that projects like these are not without their difficulties. How do you adapt a strategy when unexpected challenges arise?
This is very common for us, that we have certain unexpected challenges. This is especially coming from the fact that we are a challenger bank. And in many things, we are the first one to come into a certain market and try to establish a product or build a certain partnership. And of course, this is coming with unexpected levels of complexity sometimes. So we start scoping a project and then we find out some difficulties that were not initially there. So I think the best way to manage this is to actually keep on trying to push the envelope in different directions in order to understand if there are any alternatives on the way you can resolve the problems and how you can achieve the final goals and overcome these difficulties.
Yeah.
Keep adapting.
Think deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
And, we move fast, things are changing, we're growing and trying to move at 10x speed. When you first started at Revolut, what were your initial impressions about the company's approach to innovation? And how has it changed now that you're a part of it?
Well, I joined Revolut because I really believed on the speed that Revolut was growing and on the amazing product that was giving customers. Of course, I was impressed. And also the commitment to taking the customer feedback. But I really remember, within the first year that I was with Revolut, I thought of Bizum, thinking oh, this is a very cool project that we could do. But it looked very distant at the time. We didn't have a local branch in Spain. We didn't have Spanish IBANs. So there were practical limitations on delivering such a scale of a project at the time. So actually now, not that long after, it has only been 2 years in this period of time, we have delivered all the background that is needed. We have overcome all the limitations and we have managed to deliver the feature to customers.
And there's a Spanish branch.
Exactly. We have a Spanish branch, we have Spanish IBANs, and we have done projects that they were needed in order to achieve this final result of having Bizum for customers. It's also super nice to consider that it's not only Bizum that we're working on, but we have 10x more projects that are in the pipeline of the same level of complexity, and we're working on bringing those to the customer. I think to understand how fast Revolut is changing, is growing, and how things are moving, you should consider that we try fast, we fail fast as well, and this is how you can be innovative.
Yeah.
Of course, as part of this process, there is a lot of personal growth as well for me. So I would say that for whoever is working very closely with these projects, is also a very good opportunity to deliver your own skills and to see how yourself is growing 10x together with Revolut. So you're delivering wow, even for your own personal growth.
Looking back on this work that you're doing allows you to reflect, say, wow, I've actually made an impact, and to stay motivated to continue.
This is totally true. You don't get bored of what you do because there's so much new things and so many new challenges that are coming up. So actually that keeps you really, really motivated. And if I can see myself growing in the period of 2 years, then I can see how myself could grow in a longer period as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to ask you about the aspect of being a business development manager when it comes to building productive relationships.
Happy to share more details.
We'll be right back with more insider views. This episode of the Revolut Insider Podcast is brought to you by Revolut Business. Revolut Business is the automated financial platform helping startups, scale-ups, and enterprises accept and make payments globally, exchange money at competitive rates, and manage their spending. To learn more, visit revolut.com/business. We are back on the Revolut Insider podcast here with Business Development Manager Melina Dimoula. How's it going?
All good.
You know, when I opened season 2 of the Insider podcast this past September, I had a chance to sit down with David Tirado, who's our Vice President of Business Development. I remember he talked about this department as taking on new bets or new business ideas for the company. A big part of building these new business ideas is forming partnerships. What strategies do you use in your role as a business development manager to ensure partnerships remain mutually beneficial over time?
From my experience on the ground building such partnerships, I would say that there are like 4 main areas that are super crucial. Of course, you need communication transparency with the partner that you are engaging. By communication and transparency, I mean having clear goals and expectations. That could be many things. It could be like, what is the growth you expect out of a certain partnership? What is the timeline you believe that you will be able to deliver a feature to a customer? After you've set out these expectations and these goals, it's also very critical to be able to measure these goals with the partner and have some success criteria. So you can continuously evaluate that partnership, whether it's working, where we need to put more effort.
Where you can improve.
All of this boils down to mutual value creation. So for Revolut, we pay a lot of attention on unit economics. And of course, this is a role of the business development team and the global business to take care of our profitability and our margins. This is also something we look on all the partnerships that we establish. But it's also very, very critical to understand from an economical and value perspective what is important for the partner on the other side and what are the elements that they are looking for. These areas, they boil down to actually have a sustainable and mutually beneficial partnership over time.
And that's the end goal, right? So that they withstand.
Yeah, exactly. And we have partnerships that they are not focused on the short-term results, but also like looking into long-term growth for both sides.
And talking about both sides, what's your view on compromise when it comes to deal making?
I think there is no way you can have partners without compromise, because in the end, you want to build these beneficial relations. And in order to do that, you have to take something and give away something. Of course, it's super important that you negotiate what is really, really important for you, but you don't compromise on the actual relationship, on the actual worth of what is there. So on compromising or not, you have to understand what is essential for Revolut, what is essential for the company when you go in a negotiation. What is a nice to have and you could give away, you could compromise on that. And then still have in mind that you want to build something that is creating value mutually for both parties. And of course, to always have the bigger picture in mind, like what are you trying to achieve? Why are you doing this partnership? And both parties should have that in mind, and that achieves the open communication.
Sounds like you have a lot of experience when it comes to deal making. Do you have a background in deal making before you started at Revolut?
More or less, not exactly on what I'm doing at Revolut, but my background was more on the sales side. So I worked for a few years with a startup. So that was a very different size of a company and face of a company in comparison to where Revolut is now. But it was also very, very interesting that we had to build this type of partnerships.
So why did you make that jump and become a business development manager at Revolut?
I think like in many companies, you have the role of business development and business development managers, but in every company it means something a little bit different. At Revolut is more on the profitability and strategy side. So I found that is a role that combines the relation of internal and external stakeholders, is a role that where you're working closely with a company strategy and delivering the projects that are super crucial for the actual growth of the company. That factor of being very close and working into critical initiatives, that was something very attractive to me and also very much related with my studies.
And I'm curious because I don't think a lot of people grew up thinking, hey, I want to be a business development manager. What was your dream career growing up?
Yeah, I think that was not relevant at all. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a dancer.
Okay. Very connected to deal
Very
making.
connected.
And, business
my
development.
artistic side and my business side, they were not that much in connection when I was a kid. But at some point, I realized that this is not going to be my long-term plan, but still is my hobby.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of dance?
A little bit of everything, ballet and contemporary dancing.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I didn't envision this. My parents were working in the retail and touristic sector, so that gave me a little bit of an idea what is commerce and what is like working with clients. But other than that, no, that is something that I found out when I started studying. And throughout the years of studying, you build a lot of skills that eventually you come into using in your day-to-day life at work.
Definitely. And talking about these skills, how can someone apply their skills they've learned in other places or other industries to a role in business development?
I would say that some of the skills that are very important to be successful and to bring into a business development role are, for example, to be able to think deep, be very analytical on actually looking into opportunities, being hyper focused. This is also really, really important when you are a business development manager. You have to keep your eye on the goal, being able to communicate well what you want. This is also something that brings a lot of value to building the partnerships that we have discussed.
And I know this role is largely based on success. And the way you measure that, especially with new bets in the company, is if it's profitable, is it improving our customers' experience? For you, how do you measure your own success?
For me, it boils down to personal growth. Throughout the experience that you have, throughout the path of a project, you grow your knowledge, you grow your network, you grow your abilities in an exponential way. So for me, this is also like a way to measure my own personal success. Did I learn something out of this? Did I foster new collaborations? Did I enrich my network? Everything of this counts into my personal success.
Definitely. Looking back, what advice would you have given yourself when you were just starting out in your career?
When we all start, we tend to question ourselves quite a lot.
True.
We are all very motivated people, and that usually comes with questioning. So the main thing would be to believe on my own strength and have faith that if I put the effort, if I put the work on what I really like, what I'm passionate about, this will actually pay off towards my dreams. And with Revolut, this is very much relatable because we never settle. We put the effort and we continuously achieve huge things.
And it's very evident in the things that you've managed to achieve. I mean, you have these tangible results. You've done these things. They're tangible. You're seeing people use these features that you had an impact on.
Yeah, this is very nice to see the actual result of your work.
All right, Melina. Well, thank you so much for being here. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for the opportunity.
And for those listening, thank you. You can add the podcast to your favorites so you don't miss an episode, and follow us on Instagram at Revolut Insider. This has been the Revolut Insider Podcast, where we explore all things Revolut from the inside out. Until next time, remember, never settle, because the sky is not the limit. It's just the beginning. Revolut. Change the way you money.